You already know what time it is, man. The young goat in the building. Make sure you tune in to True Hill Heat Podcast.
This is the knockout artist, Chris Hero. And if you're looking for some true heel heat, you better listen to them boys.
Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom, SP3. We are live on the True Hill Heat YouTube and Facebook for our NJPW Resurgence 2023 Roundtable Review. We are here to discuss the show from Long Beach, California, headlined by the first ever women's main event in New Japan Pro Wrestling history, and it was two black women. We'll talk about the good, the bad, the ugly when it comes to that and the entire show from Long Beach. But if we're here talking about New Japan Pro Wrestling, you know who is with me. He is the man who is the MC of the past, present, and future of New Japan Pro Wrestling here on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. It is J-News.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your good brother J-News. What a night it was last night, brother. What a night it was last night, SP3, on the good and the bad side for us New Japan Pro Wrestling fans around the world. We'll get to it. Folks, as always, thank you for joining us here on the live stream for the Resurgence review. Me and SP3 got lots of things to talk about, so we'll get this underway.
Yes, indeed. Of course, if you are with us live, we thank you all. If you're watching us on demand, we also appreciate you. Show your appreciation back. Drop the thumbs up on this video. Share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you are new to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. We are slowly trekking along very, very close to 6.5 thousand subscribers here on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. Before we get to our next milestone of 7K, we appreciate you all for joining the ride. And of course, if you're with us live, sound off in the live chat. We would love to hear from all of you what you thought about NJPW Resurgence 2023. Let us know in the live chat. We'll try to highlight as many of your comments as possible. But if you're feeling generous, you want to make sure we highlight your comment on screen, you could do that with a super chat donations. Those always help out. It helps the channel grow. It helps us get new subscribers and more engagement. The YouTube algorithms enjoy the super chats as well, and it will help out the contributors that you see on screen here with us on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. And if you are watching on demand, you can let us know what you thought about NJPW Resurgent in the comments down below. You guys have been doing great with comments after the show has went off live, so keep that going with this one right here. But yes, J-News, any thoughts, any one word to give your thoughts about the entire Resurgence card?
By majority, I'll say that Resurgence was wild. That's my thoughts right there. Resurgence was wild. I did not expect Resurgence to be what it was. These New Japan Strong shows are definitely something that, yeah, I'll watch it because obviously I'm a New Japan guy. I don't expect them to overachieve. They definitely overachieved last night. And a comment that I made to you last night was, it just seems that New Japan Pro Wrestling said, fuck it, we'll be ECW tonight. it was just wild, man. It was wild, but it was good and it was cool to see it the way that it went down yesterday in Long Beach. The only thing that I thought was a little bit strange was just like, I figured that they would sell out and they didn't. right? There was a lot. There was
It came pretty close.
It
I
came
think
pretty
I
close,
think
but
I think the stat that was put out there is that after Mercedes was announced, they moved about 1,000, 1.5, basically 1,500 tickets were
Mhm.
sold after Mercedes was announced. So I think they only had maybe like 800, 700 tickets that weren't sold.
Yeah. Because the obvious thing is that because the arena has yellow seats, you just saw the pockets of empty seats throughout the arena, and the camera work was a bit shoddy from time to time. But that's technical stuff. It had nothing to do with the presentation with the wrestling itself and whatnot. But yeah.
Yes, we got a bunch of people in the chat with us already. We got Dan who says this background alone says thousands of words. We got Vala B who says Willow indeed. He says our girl is gonna do big things. We also got Colin in the chat saying, was Willow winning anyway, or did they have to call an audible? We're gonna be getting into that when we get to the main event of this show. Vala B saying hopefully it's not going to be as bad as last year, but Japanese promotions in general getting hit by the injury bug. Yeah, it was a lot of major injuries from outside of the major promotions, even in the major promotions with like Liv Morgan and Dakota Kai going down with injuries in WWE. But Japanese promotion, especially like New Japan, got hit pretty hard. Taiji Ishimori was announced as forfeiting his final bout in the Best of the Super Juniors after suffering what looked like a shoulder injury, but they said a cervical type injury that he suffered that's going to keep him out of his final match. And he was cooking. He was having a great Best of Super Juniors tournament. And then, to have that injury happen in what was shaping up to be another great match with Hiromu Takahashi, it was sad to see that. We got Antoine who says, how serious is the Mercedes injury? Hope doesn't keep her from Forbidden Door 2. The only thing we can say for now is that PW Insider did report that it was an ankle injury suffered by Mercedes Moné in the main event. And usually with a broken ankle, you would be out 2 to 3 months. That is usually the time frame for recovery. So Forbidden Door seems like it's out the window. There's a possibility for All In, but that might be too soon. But yes, very sad that it doesn't look like we're going to get Mercedes at Forbidden Door.
That's the unfortunate part about what went down yesterday in the main event. But yeah, man, we gotta outside of the injuries, I think that they showed out at Strong last night. If they can continue this trend, obviously it doesn't have to be as wild every time, right? But if they can continue this trend, and get into hot crowds, because yesterday's crowd, even though some of the mic work and some of the camera work wasn't as crisp as it usually is, you could tell that the crowd was hot. So if they can get into places where the crowd is usually hot and gets behind them, and they put on excellent matches as they usually do, but to another caliber, maybe they can keep this New Japan Strong, these monthly shows going, and get some more fans interested in the product.
Yes, and all I will say is that you said you kind of saw the seats, and my one word to describe this show was an all around type of show. That's one word, ALL-around. But all around was this show, because this was a show probably that I had the lowest expectations for, considering how high my standard and the quality of the US shows have been this year with Battle in the Valley and the Collision Weekend. All three of those were great shows, but I felt like this was the most all-around show that it was basically a smorgasbord for wrestling fans. It had every type of wrestling you might enjoy. And they kicked off. We're going to talk quickly about the kickoff matches on the show, because New Japan, come on, New Japan. What are we doing? What are we doing? Because first of all, they started the pre-show, the kickoff show early. They said it was supposed to start at 7:30. These motherfuckers literally opened the door at like 7:30, and the match is already going on. There's literally like 10 people in the seat. Look at this picture. Look at this picture of when Bateman and DKC had their matchup. This is the picture of the floor of the floor when you have your opening match. Like, that's embarrassing. This is for free. The kickoff show is for free. This is supposed to be like, you should wait till the seats are filled. So this is a preview for the people who want to make the last minute decision to buy the show. New Japan, how can you be this stupid? You have been doing business for way too long. I was just so disappointed by that, because I turned on the show. I literally turned on the show like at 7:31, and it's already like in the second gear of this matchup, and I'm just like, what the hell? Like, are they like going that fast? And no, it was literally, they started the show early. It's just, this was a nothing matchup though. The dozen people who saw the match didn't really care for it. Bateman used his size throughout it, forcing DKC to use his speed, and DKC eventually won the matchup, turning a submission into a quick pin. Did you even get to see this one?
No, I didn't. When what was it last night when I texted you during the Mercedes versus Stephanie Vaquera match, that's when I started watching the show, because I was in the middle of work. So I was like, oh shit, the show. So I sign on to New Japan World, I buy the damn thing, I cast it to my TV, and I'm like, oh, okay, we're here. So it's like, I didn't even see the pre-show. I'm glad my prediction came through the DKC with the win.
Yes, so. I'll give y'all credit. I had Romeo messaging me being like, you didn't believe in the DKC. I was like, that loser got lucky. I was like, I ain't gonna believe in him the next time either. But someone I do believe in from the LA dojo, Alex Coughlin, he got the win in the other kickoff match, a victory over Christopher Daniels. This was at the point where more fans were filing in, but we only got to maybe 100 people saw this matchup. This was a fine little match, but it was really hurt by the lack of fans in attendance. Daniels was much more of a heel, despite him wearing Los Angeles Lakers colors in Long Beach. He was a heel for most of this matchup, stepping on the toes and taunting both Coughlin and the fans. Coughlin, the most surprising moment of this matchup was Daniels hitting the Angel's wings on Coughlin, and Coughlin kicking out at 1. He came back, made his comeback, hits a big old German suplex, and then he finishes Daniels with the jackhammer. I thought this was a pretty good matchup. I didn't give a rating for DKC and Bateman, but this one I gave a 2 3/4 stars. This was a nice way to get more fans into the building. They saw action as they were coming in, but once again, New Japan, just get it together as far as when you open the doors, starting your kickoff show with enough time for fans to file in. That's all I ask.
Because I remember seeing the promo for like the digital promo for Resurgence, and I thought I saw that the doors were supposed to open at 5 local time. So people should have already been in the arena by that time. So to see that sort of thing happen, that sucks. Not only from a visual standpoint, but obviously for the wrestlers as well, because you're expecting a crowd to be there while you're working. So.
And it had me worried. It had me worried for the main show. I was like, because you know how Long Beach, Los Angeles fans. I'm a Laker fan, so I know how they.
People be strolling in.
They be strolling in. Mm-hmm. They don't come in until they know the ball is about to be tipped off for a Crypto.com Staples Center game. So I can only imagine how it was in Long Beach. I was expecting the same thing. But by the time we got into the opening matchup on the main card, we did have a lot more people in the seats. We got Ninja Lourdes, who says, what a goddamn show. We also got Valo B talking about Alex Coughlin, saying the boy deserves to be showcased more. I do agree, and he's going to get a big showcase coming up this Wednesday. They're taping an episode of Ring of Honor in Las Vegas, I think before or after or both. The Dynamite show, and it's going to be Coughlin versus Shibata for the ROH Pure Championship. That match will air on the June 1st edition of ROH TV, but that should be a really good one, especially if they tape that before Dynamite. I think the crowd will be very much into that one. But talking about more important things on the card, we kicked off. They reversed the order, because I know the order that we saw when we did the pre-show had the women's matches to kick off the show, but instead they had the tag team matchup between Team CMLL. You say the names. Go ahead. You know you love to say the names.
No, I don't. At the end,
Virus, and
and Barbaro Cavernario. Yes, Virus and Barbaro
Cavernario.
We had those guys, and I forget what was the other team because I didn't get to watch this match.
It was TMDK, Zack Sabre Jr.
Okay,
and
so
Bad
it was
Dude
that
Tito.
bad dude Tito.
This one overachieved, dude. Like this was a hell of an opener. The crowd was into it from bell to bell. You got Virus and ZSJ going at it in the mat wrestling, having like a Tekkers battle between these two. Cavernario and Bad Dude Tito were just having a horse fight, just battering each other, brawling throughout this one. So it was very much not really like a tag team match with like double teams and a lot of four-way matches. It was more like two singles matches kind of put together, but I thought it was a hell of a matchup to kick things off. Bad Dude Tito almost got the win with a very impressive Blue Thunder Bomb before Cavernario caught him in the Cavanari for a sudden submission win for the CMLL duo. I was very much surprised by this result. After the match, ZSJ and Virus had an exchange with ZSJ raising the NJPW World Television Championship. So this right here, this mixed with what I saw on Ring of Honor TV this week with ZSJ kind of seemingly setting up a program on ROH Television Champion versus New Japan Television Champion program with Samoa Joe. It makes me believe that ZSJ has more of a chance to retain the TV title than I thought he did when the match was made for Dominion with ZSJ and Jeff Cobb, the rematch after their 15-minute time limit draw at Wrestling Dontaku. So he's got two different matches that he seems to be setting up here, one with Virus from CMLL and one with Samoa Joe in Ring of Honor. But this match alone, I gave it 3 3/4 stars, a hell of a way to kick things off. More like I won't ask you about the match because you say you didn't see it, but what do you think about ZSJ kind of setting up programs in multiple places right now?
It seems like he's the man who's going to cross the international waters at this point, man. You know what I'm saying? So they're using that TV belt in order to obviously put the New Japan Pro Wrestling name out there. Obviously, he'll making the ROH rounds. I'm assuming he'll probably make the CMLL rounds as well. I don't know if he'll ever make it onto AEW TV proper, but ROH counts, I guess. So that's part of the whole the lineage there. Obviously, he has the match versus Jeff Cobb at Dominion coming up as well. So to your point, I think that the title retention probably makes more sense at that route for ZSJ as well. So more great matches from ZSJ, more than likely that we're going to be seeing coming down the pipeline. This whole him and Samoa Joe tagging against Christopher Daniels and Matt Sydal, that's going to be a fun one. So yeah. We'll see how that goes down on ROH TV. But glad that they're trying to do something different with this particular championship that they're not doing with the other championships. So I'm glad to see ZSJ getting the spotlight and getting some mic time as well, because ZSJ is a cunning bastard. So at the end of the day,
Samoan Joseph popped me. Samoan Joseph popped me on Ring of Honor TV. That was great. Bala B, I guess he disagrees, saying overachieved ? That finish was a bit confusing. It wasn't confusing. He put him in a submission and Bad Dude Tito tapped out. Not very confusing at all, honestly. If you watch the matchup, I saw it coming. I saw him put him in the submission and then he just tapped out. He couldn't deal with the Tekkers like Zach can. Frantic World asking, I got one question. Why did TMDK take the L? I think it was more about setting up Virus or even Cavernario as a future challenger for the NJPW World Television Championship.
Yeah, that's pretty much what they're just trying to find. They're trying to find new contenders to the TV championship, much like what AEW does with Orange Cassidy. So at the end of the day, I think that's really what they're trying to do. Just find different people from different places to contend for the NJPW TV Championship. Just to continue to continue to build upon these relationships that they have with all these other companies. So that's really what it's all about in that regard. I think that's my opinion.
No, I agree with you. I definitely do. But yes, we continue on, and this is when I felt like the show started cooking. And this is when J-News started watching the show as well. So it was the NJPW Strong Women's Championship Tournament opening round matchup between Mercedes Moné and Stephanie. You say the
Vaquer.
last name. Vaquer. And Stephanie Vaquer, oh my God! Spoiler alert: she might be an MVP candidate because we expect Mercedes Moné, who just oozes charisma and star power. Look at this attire, just looking like Cleopatra. Just great attire that she came out with. She also had the representation of Snoop Dogg on her first gear that she wore here. That was very nice as well. Stephanie Vaquer just looks like an absolute star herself as well. And just this matchup, the way that this matchup flowed, it just felt it was so flawless, like how things just progressed throughout this matchup. The different exchanges, you had Vaquer really just looking like she wanted to become a star here, and they're going back and forth, prolonged back and forth sequences where neither woman could get the advantage. We get a sudden arm drag into the crossface by Moné. Later on, Vaquer gets the crossface on Mercedes herself. We get running knees into the corner by both ladies. Another pair of flying knees. Mercedes totally taking out Vaquer on the outside with the meteor off the apron to the floor. That was great stuff as well. Vaquer kept coming up with different reversals to the moneymaker. She would hit a DDT at one point, and then a backbreaker that kind of took the wind out of the whole building. Vaquer kept up the pressure, landing a barrage of offense, but Moné finally avoided a leg drop to put Vaquer on the back foot. She hits a lung blower, and then a great transition into the moneymaker, probably the most smoothest moneymaker that we've seen so far. And this one was an absolute banger. This is how you establish this new championship, with the round one, with the tournament matches really delivering on a high level. And this was a very high level, one of the best matches of the entire night. I give it 4.25 stars. Mercedes Moné moving on to the main event in the finals of the NJPW Strong Women's Championship Tournament. What did you think of this one, and what did you think about Stephanie Vaquer's performance, who really impressed me? Even though she's from CMLL, she would not look out of place in like somewhere like Stardom.
Yeah, man, I think that the match went it went longer than I thought it was, right? Because when I came into the match, it had already been like 5 minutes in, and it went another like it was just longer than I thought it was. And then secondarily, Stephanie Vaquer, she showed me a lot, man. Because like I said before, in previous recordings of ours, the CMLL women, they don't get much limelight even on CMLL. So like to see her compete in the way that she was competing last night, she turned herself into a star. Because if you can hang with Mercedes Moné, aka Sasha Banks, in the ring, like that just oozes star power there. And I think that she can be used in other ways, like you said, SP. Like if she goes off to Stardom, she does one of the tournaments, I think she could do well there. I don't know if she can be a future contender for any other women's championships, maybe the Strong Championship, now that Mercedes is actually injured, unfortunately, and stuff like that, so she can be a contender for Willow in the future. Maybe have her pop up on AEW TV just as a random contender for the sake of, just to give the women's division a little bit of life in that regard. So just have
I don't know about AEW because they have the relationship with Triple
H. I always forget about that, because
the Bloods and the Crips of the wrestling world, man.
It is what it is there, but basically, see her on Strong, so we'll be able to see as to how that goes down and things of that nature. So yeah, man, she did an awesome job. I thought she did it really, really well. And yeah, Mercedes, man, she did the thing, man. She did the thing. I can't take anything away from her in this match. She did her thing. Nothing looked sloppy, like you said. Everything was really, really fluid and flawless in this match for women who touched for the first time. These look like they've been in there for forever, and that was really, really good to see. So definitely a good match. I think 4.25 stars is a deserved grade on this match, and I'm looking forward to more from Stephanie Vaquer, and hopefully on the YouTubes, I could see more of the CMLL women wrestle instead of what I get to see on a regular basis.
Yeah, like I only check out their YouTube stuff when I hear a match, like the earlier this year with what's his name, and Rocky Romero.
Mhm.
Yeah, I checked out that one because that was getting high reviews, but I don't watch CMLL always. But Stephanie Vaquera made me want to check out some more women in CMLLs for sure. So let me get more of that. We got a super chat donation from the good brother Dan. Thank you so much, Dan. Don't always see you in the chat, but I appreciate you when you're here, and I appreciate these very nice words where he says your superb coverage is appreciated. Best presentation for wrestling reviews on YouTube. Thank you. Thank you so much. We try
Appreciate
our
it, man.
best here at True
Yeah.
Hill Heat. And I always have J-News to help me out and give me more perspective as someone who's been watching New Japan for all his life. I appreciate him, and I appreciate you, Dan, for the super chat donation. We got Frantic World, who adds, I need the owners of CMLL and AAA to come together and work out their problems. Easier said than done.
Yeah, for sure, man. Easier said than done, for sure. If there's ever a Mexican wrestling super show, I think pigs will fly. So so that's how it is right now.
There you go. NJPW Strong Women's Championship Tournament Round 1 matchup number 2, as we had Willow Nightingale versus Momo Kogo. Now, let me just say, my prediction going in was Willow Nightingale would win this one, but Momo Kogo is another one. Like Momo Kogo and Stephanie Vaquera, they made the most. This is what I kind of always appreciated about New Japan in comparison to other promotions, is that you can come out a big winner despite taking the loss in your matches. And these two women's matches were like exhibits A and B for that, because Momo Kogo, the fans just got behind her. She really won them over. They were very unfamiliar and maybe even adversarial very early on, but it was terrific to watch them clearly come get behind Momo, as she was so smaller than Willow, but she got some great near falls, hitting like 619s. She hit a springboard drop kick at one point. Kogo hit a pump kick and then a suplex after kind of struggling a bit with the size of Willow. She was finally able to come and do that. I love Willow kind of showing that she could be, despite being one of the most ultimate baby faces out there, she can play this kind of like monster heel, because she's got the size, she's got the power that can just overwhelm these girls. She hits a big spine buster at one point, and Kogo kicked out to a great response from the fans. Kogo powered through a lariat, but was immediately dropped with a fireman's carry and finished with a power bomb she hit the fireman's carry and then hit the doctor bomb for the 1-2-3. Willow Nightingale getting the win on Momo Kogo, but this was another great matchup. I think maybe just as good, and I wouldn't even argue with someone who would tell me that this was better than Stephanie Vaquera and Mercedes Moné, because it was the ultimate kind of power versus speed type of matchup, and Momo Kogo gained so much from this match despite Willow Nightingale getting the win to advance in the NJPW Strong Women's Championship Tournament to face Mercedes Moné in the main event, the first ever women's main event, and it's two African-American women. Make my heart grow larger, but this match alone right here, I give it 4 stars. J-News, what did you think about Momo Kogo versus Willow Nightingale?
Momo Kogo did more in 7.5 minutes than most people do in 1. Yeah, daddy, that's what we're talking about. But anyways, I'll say this, man. Momo Kogo impressed me in the sense that we all know Momo can, for us who have experience watching Stardom and Japanese women's wrestling, we know that Momo Kogo can go. But for her to put on this style of match versus Willow Nightingale and even show off her power against Willow Nightingale's, the suplexes and stuff like that, when she didn't hit the first crucifix bomb, I said to myself, are they going to let her hit a crucifix bomb? There you go. Later on in the match, she hits a crucifix bomb. She gets the 2 count on Willow. I'm there like, they're letting her shine here, because at the end of the day, I think that they're trying to really push this NJPW Strong Women's Division in whatever way that they can. I'm not sure as to what other women are going to be able to participate in this division, but we'll see. but definitely a tight match here. Willow obviously showing off the power throughout the night. Her match here with Momo, her match against Mercedes. Listen, man, she got more fans behind her in this show in Long Beach than she has in her entire run in AEW, right?
Yes.
And that's not shade towards Willow. It's just more of presentation of Willow on AEW TV and how they've been booking her and things of that nature. So more success to her in the future. Hopefully she has a good title run, and they give her, I think, what Willow's strength is going to be because of her power, what type of matches she's going to be able to put together with whoever's in the ring with her. So give her diverse opponents, just so we can see different styles of matches, because that's what New Japan is good at, right? Giving us different diverse styles of matches. So if they're able to give her different types of opponents every time out during these New Japan Strong events, then I'll be all for it, to be quite honest. So definitely a dope match here. Momo Kogo, she's on the radar, man. She should stop losing in Stardom. So
yo, give it a push. Give it a push. I always hear from Stardom fans like how much of like she's just one of the more likable underdog baby faces. But anytime I watch Stardom, I see her lose so much. And that's why I didn't go for her in this matchup, because I thought it would be a great opportunity to, have two women in the main event, but have it be two African American women, which is just like, and literally I'll pull back the curtain a little bit. My message to you when Willow won is like, we got two black women in the main event of a New Japan show. I was like, what world are we living in? And a few years ago, it used to be, oh, why don't New Japan have women matches? Now, and then we get a women's match in the main event, and it's two African American women. That's like, man, that's like, back in the 20s, having black people can sit at the back of the bus and then coming on the bus the next day and all the black people in the front of the bus, and you got a black bus driver. That's like, that's how far we've come with New Japan.
You know what, man? I can't disagree with you, and I'll say this. Pulling back the curtain as well. My response to you was comedic, but it was real too at the same time, right? I said it's 2023. It's a new day. Yes, it is, brother. Because it at the end of the day, because NJPW, we all know they have a little bit of stigma on their on the shoulders and stuff. They need to start to rub off the stigma. And how do you rub off the stigma? You start to listen to the talent, have the talent, give you a little bit of push here, push there. Like, let's do this, let's do that. It'll look good in the US here. You know what I'm saying? We could do different things, and for them to be able to get that main event set up in that light, and just the way that the match started, the main event started. We'll talk about it when we get there. But man, that was awesome to see. That was awesome to see.
Indeed. Next up, we had the street fight between Juice Robinson.
Oh man,
this one right here, J-News, you want to talk about another match that exceeded my expectations, because I thought we were going in to get one thing and we got something completely different. This one opens with like heavy strikes. They're brawling with one another. You got Juice coming at Fred Rosser coming at Juice. They fight to the outside where Fred Rosser grabs a legit garbage can that is just in the crowd, and he bashes it over Juice's head, busting him open. He pulls out a kendo stick. Dude hit Juice right in the mouth with this goddamn kendo stick. Right in the fucking mouth. Right in the mouth with this goddamn kendo stick. He is just completely brutalizing him. You see the welts forming on Juice's back. He's busted open. He's juicing everywhere, literally, at this point. He puts him in the ring, and he puts the garbage can over his head. He's bashing it with the chain wrapped around his head, his hand. Then Juice is in the corner, and he's begging off Fred Rosser when it happened. Tony Storm, after months upon months of Fred Rosser talking his crap, saying all this and that about Mrs. Juice Robinson. Mrs. Robinson pulled on up to the New Japan show, ladies and gentlemen. She pulled on up, and I'll be legit here. Fred Rosser turned heel, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, he
because
did. He absolutely did.
this is not 1990s. This is not the 1980s. This is not the 1970s. And Fred Rosser, a gay man, forced
Yes,
himself
exactly.
on Juice Robinson's wife, kissing her as she is clearly not trying to be kissed. She came into the ring and she low blowed Fred Rosser, and Fred Rosser no sold it, revealing that he had a cup on. He takes the cup out. He eventually kisses, forcing himself to kiss Toni Storm. He then gets her on his shoulders. He's spinning her around, but Juice is able to hit a low blow on Fred Rosser, followed by Toni Storm hitting the Storm Zero power driver on Fred Rosser. I thought this was going to be the finish, but Fred Rosser was able to kick out. Eventually, Fred Rosser is able to put his submission, the chicken wing stretch, on Juice. It looks like Juice is gonna tap out, but Toni Storm gets back into the ring. She cracks a glass bottle over Fred Rosser's head. If Juice follows up with a big spear through a door, he then puts a stop sign right against Fred Rosser's head, and Toni Storm heats Sweet Cheeks music, the hip attack on Fred Rosser, and then Juice follows up with his swing out DDT, and we get this great image as Juice pins Fred Rosser with Toni Storm's ass on top of her husband's back for the 1, 2, 3. This was wild. This was bloody. This was crazy. And I loved every minute of it. This is what I said when I said at the top of the show. This was a smorgasbord of every type of wrestling, because you got some great women's wrestling. You got more of like the athletic back and forth with Stephanie Vicker and Mercedes Moné. You got the women's power versus speed with Momo Kogo versus Willow Nightingale. You got more of like Techers meets brawling in the opening match with Team CMLL versus TMDK. And this right here was sports entertainment greatness. This was sports entertainment fun. I give it 3 3/4 stars, but this was so much fun, and the Toni Storm reveal and surprise appearance popped me so much, and really this felt like the blow off of this feud between Juice and Rosser. And I loved Ian Riccaboni on commentary. He is the babyface voice on commentary, but even he had to demote Fred Rosser for his actions of forcing himself on Toni Storm. So I think Ian Riccaboni deserves some credit. He did an excellent job on commentary throughout the night, but especially in that moment, in kind of saying like, no, I can't even, vouch for him. That was not the right thing to do. He even when Fred Rosser is walking to the back, he says, I think Fred Rosser is going to watch this match back and be disappointed with himself. So I loved that commentary by Ian Riccaboni, because it's not 1990, it's not 1980. Yes, it got a response, but it got a lot more boos than cheers. What did you think about this match overall, that moment, and Toni Storm appearing in general?
Much like Vala B said, man, this is why I called that's why I called the event wild, right? But this is the first wild spot in the event. Let me say this, man. Let me say something, man. Let me say something. To Colin Matthew, who says, was there really any need for Toni Storm to be there? Yes, there was. Yeah. This was a personal blood feud. Folks, if you don't know the storyline going into this,
it's basically like the Harry Potter movies, where they're always talking about Voldemort, and then Voldemort doesn't show up until the 4th or the 5th movie. Right. This was the 4th or the 5th movie. This was like, we're going towards the end of this whole thing. We need the character that has been talked about the most to finally show up.
Exactly, man. And her being all hardcore, and her being the outcast and stuff like that, it made sense for her to be there, not necessarily cheering her husband on, but to be involved and doing what she did. And man, when Juice held that stop sign and she hit that hip attack, I was like, yo, that's wild, bro. Because she makes it look so violent every time.
It's the most violent hip attack in the business.
So it's like, and it's like, that should be a finisher, regardless of the fact of what she does. I mean, the Storm Zero is the Storm Zero. Don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, it's like, that hip attack, ain't nobody kicking out of that hip attack, especially with a stop sign in your face. That's ridiculous. I'll say this. There was a part in the match that I was a little bit shaken by, because Juice Robinson and Fred Rosser, they are of a certain background, and you see a belt out, and you see bare skin out.
I will say, I was gonna tweet it, but I'm glad you mentioned it because
I was like,
when that spot happened, I was like a white man whipping a black man.
Exactly. So that this doesn't, I'm not seeing this right here. So it's like, y'all need to let that go. But they were able to trade off of it and things of that nature. There were certain spots during the match where Ian Riccaboni had mentioned how Fred Rosser came out with the long chain, and he compared him to Hercules Hernandez. And to me, in my head, I was like, nah, man, this ain't Hercules Hernandez. Don't forget about JYD, baby. Because this is the end of the day. That to me, that was the signification of it. He went in there with that JYD mindset. He was gonna make somebody bleed. He was gonna mess somebody up, and he was just in a zone, man. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about when I say JYD, Junkyard Dog, one of the top stars in the 1980s, in the mid 80s, in the Mid South, and even here in the East Coast, he was on WWE TV for a while and stuff. He was just known for his beat down thrashing style. His hardcore matches in the mid 80s were something else to see. When I saw Fred come out with that big chain, I was like, oh daddy, we're in for a violent one. And we got treated to a violent ass match. Fred just, man, he whooped Juice Robinson. Even though Juice won the match, like Fred kicked Juice's ass. Like I was like, oh man, this is something else. I was like, wild was the word that I have to use for this. Juice got his win, but he did not win the war here. He won the battle, but he did not win the war here.
He got his comeuppance for everything he's done to Rosser, costing him the championship, the beat down at Capital Collision, costing him the IWGP United States Championship tournament. He got his comeuppance, and then we got Tony Storm to come out, and really that was the key factor. That was the key factor to Fred Rosser losing. We got Joel Jimenez in the chat saying, what's up, y'all? I was at the show last night. The crowd was hella into it. I definitely agree. The crowd was, from the Mercedes match on, especially how that crowd erupted during Mercedes, the opening, where Mercedes like hyping up the crowd for her and Stephanie Vicaire, and then in the main event as well. Like throughout the night, Mercedes got some of the biggest reactions from this crowd. And Joe also adding, agreed. I hated the kiss spot. It got booed in the building. Yeah, definitely. You heard the boos for that.
Just to mention that one thing one last time. I was like, what the hell? Like, we all know Fred is gay. Like, why did that even work? Like, who thought about this? Whose idea was this? And I was like, oh, that just went, that did not go. But Joel's last comment about the chain spot in the Tree of Woe, man, I was like, yo, Juice's neck is out of way right here. I was like, this is not culture right here. But the violence that they portrayed during this match, like at one point, I think Juice also had him hanging from that belt, had Fred hanging from the belt, and they did it to each other and stuff like that. Yeah, man, that's why I said like it reminded me of those 1980s hardcore matches, because they use a lot of dog collar matches and chain matches and stuff like that, which is why it didn't remind me of Makabe Balabi. So that's why.
Yeah, I didn't even highlight that comment because I did not think of Makabe at all.
No. So nah, man, they went over the top with this, and I commend them for what they did with the match as a whole. Certain spots unnecessary, but hey, we got what we got.
Now, if you were up on this show, and I was very up, 3 back-to-back matches or 4 back-to-back matches with the opener, which had me just like, okay, this show is really cooking. And then they had to take me down, J-News, because...
But did they?
Yes, they did, because Kyle Flesher came to the ring
to
announce due to Mark Davis being injured, that that Aussie Open has to relinquish the IWGP and NJPW Strong Tag Team Championships, and that the matchup between Bishamon now and House of Torture at Dominion will be for the dual gold. It won't just be for the IWGP Tag Team titles. It's going to be for the IWGP and the New Japan Strong Tag Team Championships. He was very gracious in his little speech here, talking about how they wanted to have a great reign, and he's sorry that he disappointed the fans, not giving them the reign that he knew that Aussie Open could do. And I said it on Twitter, and I'll say it here. Aussie Open was 2023's best tag team of the year. They had this on lock 5 months in, and now to hear that Mark Davis is going to be out for a considerable amount of time, and a long enough time that they have to relinquish the titles, is so sad. This means we're not going to get Aussie Open versus FTR at Forbidden Door. This means that their reign has ended with them being the belt collectors. Cloud Fetcher says whenever they do come back, they're going to go rise back to the top. They're going to reclaim the gold, but Kyle Fletcher will now hopefully be able to thrive as a singles competitor. He's got a huge matchup coming up on AEW Dynamite for the AEW International Championship, but this was kind of a downer moment before we get another injury to end the night. But this was the first downer moment of the night, and this was a real, I would say, probably my word to describe this show is a roller coaster. It was a roller coaster of emotions, because I was up high after the Juice and Fred Rosser matchup, and then I was kind of brought down a bit with the news of Mark Davis's injury. What did you think about Kyle Fletcher's speech and the fact Aussie Open had to relinquish the gold?
I mean, it's sad news, bro. Like like I told you last night, man. It was just something was up, right? Because when Kyle Fletcher made his debut on AEW TV a couple of weeks ago, I said to myself, Kyle's doing singles work. Why? And and in my head, it was all about them eventually coming to face FTR. And I was like, well, where's Dunkzilla? Where's Mark? Like, what's going on? And then for him to come out and make the announcement that he made last night during the show, I was like, man, this sucks. This sucks. I understand injuries happen. Don't get me wrong. At the end of the day, they do take time away from guys' careers and stuff like that, and it sets them back, because obviously wrestling is all based on storylines and comeuppances and feuds and things of that nature. So it always takes time to recharge the battery. So hopefully Mark Davis isn't gone for too long, and they're able to recapture that magic that they were going with this year. So we'll see how that works out. I think that the Aussie Arrow is a great singles competitor. So definitely, I think his match with Orange Cassidy that's coming up this Wednesday, I think, right?
Yeah.
Is going to be a banger, and hopefully he'll get more things to do, probably on ROH TV, if anything else. And I'm not too. Would he be considered for the G1?
Or he should be. He had a hell of a performance in the New Japan Cup. Mm-hmm. I would say I think we gave our MVP for the New Japan Cup to Aussie Open for their performances. He had 2 great matches against Hiroki Goto and then with Yoshihashi. But I'm just disappointed, because Aussie Open, man, they had so many great matches, whether it's the match against Bishamon, whether it was against Tomohiro Ishii and Leo Rush, the 3-way match where they won the Strong Tag Team titles with Motor City Machine Guns and Okada and Tanahashi. Just time after time, they just delivered and gave us these high quality matches in 2023. So it's sad. It's heartbreaking, really, to watch it end this way.
Yeah, man. There's much to the same sentiments that a lot of folks are having here in the chat, man. Get better and get well soon, Mark Davis, brother. At the end of the day, we need Aussie Open in that tag division across all the different wrestling promotions and stuff like that. But this is going to be Kyle Fletcher's time to shine as a singles wrestler, man. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully he has a great match with Orange Cassidy, which I don't doubt. Hopefully he has a good run in the G1. And we'll see where it goes from there. And maybe, just maybe, I'll put this out into the ether as well. Maybe he'll be the second United Empire member to challenge Zack Sabre Jr. for that NJPW TV title. I'm putting that out there in the space just to see how that works out. But
Put it
yeah,
out in
man,
the space, see if it hits.
putting it out exactly, man. You know, got to put it out there, man. Manifest it some way, somehow. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm with
that
you.
is what it is. But this next match we're going to talk about, brother. Look, listen. You go ahead, man. You go ahead.
For the NJPW Strong Openweight Championship, it was Kenta challenging the new champion Hikuleo, and you know we bemoaned this whole matchup
Yes, we did.
at Wrestling Dontaku. We said we had most of us give it the LVP, like the match itself or the individuals in this match. But all I will say, this might have been the weakest match on this card, but that is not that's a testament more to the card than this match. This match overachieved because they kept it to strictly about brawling. Like it opens up hot with Hikuleo hitting a sudden big boot to Kenta and Kenta retreating to the floor. They bump into the referee. He attempts a low blow, but Hikuleo blocks it. They fight to the behind the curtain. The camera doesn't go behind there, but Kenta comes out fine and Hikuleo is limping. They start metering as the referee is starting to count out Hikuleo, but Hikuleo's getting back in the ring. Then they fight up the another way where Hikuleo bumps the referee. He sets up a table. He looks like he's about to choke slam Kenta, but then he walks away. He instead walks up the bleachers where Kenta is able to hit a low blow, and then he flips Hikuleo off the freaking bleachers about 10 feet in the air down into the table. Great table bump by Hikuleo here. Kenta then eventually crawls his way back to the ring. He's able to get inside the ring at the count of 17 or 18. Hikuleo is trying to get himself up, but he can barely move. He only gets a couple of feet away from the table before he just collapses, and the 20 count is made. And because this is a title in New Japan Pro Wrestling, the title does in fact change on count out. So Kenta is your first ever two-time New Japan Strong Openweight champion. Like I said, they kept it more to brawling. They had the crowd involved. The crowd reacted big to the table spot, and they actually reacted positively to Kenta regaining the NJPW Strong Openweight Championship. As Kenta is celebrating, though, the lights go out, and on the big screen, it is none other than AEW ROH's own Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston basically says whoever is the champion, that he is making the challenge for whenever he is healthy, when he recovers from his hernia surgery, that he wants the next shot at the Strong Openweight Championship. Kenta gets on the mic after this challenge, and he answers by saying he doesn't understand Eddie's accent, but he'll defend the belt anytime, anywhere. I was much better. I'm much rather this matchup over their Wrestling Dontaku output. So that is the only reason I might be the high man here, but I will go 3.25 stars for this one. What did you think, J-News?
I'll say this. When the match started, Kenta versus Hikuleo, it started off super slow. And I said to myself, we're going down this Wrestling Dontaku road again. But this is my theory. This is a theory of mine. When they did the behind the curtain spot, I feel like Kenta called an audible. He told Hikuleo, yo, we got to do something different. This ain't working. And then they went to go to brawl out in the streets of Long Beach at the end of the day. The reason as to why that table spot works so well, dude, they're on a freaking parquet floor. It's a basketball court floor under the table. So it's like, yeah, that's gonna hurt, man. That's gonna hurt. So for Hikuleo, first of all, props to Hikuleo for even taking that bump over that railing, because it's like, for even regardless of the fact that he's 6'8", 6'9", that ball is still steep, or whatever the case is. So for him to take, and it was a clean bump, by the way, clean bump through the table. And I knew at that point in time when he took the bump through the table, and I saw Kenta go down the steps, I was like, oh, he's gonna win via count out, isn't he? And then he wins.
Once he took the bump through the table, I was just like, oh, that's where we're going here.
I was like, he won via count out, which is cool. But mind you, big props to Ref Taito here for taking the stair bump.
Oh my God.
Getting up and still get to the ring and being able to get the 20 count in, and Kenta winning this match. It's like I called it, man. I said it during our preview. He needs the belt back. They need to do something with this belt that's a little bit different than they've been doing. I think it was a little bit too early for Hikuleo in this spot. The match didn't go over well. I'll say it here because I said it to you last night. Eddie Kingston versus Kenta, whenever it takes place, it will be a Kings Road All Japan Pro Wrestling classic at the end of the day. I like Vala B said, Eddie Kingston will make Kenta great again. It's just, if this match happens in the near future and it underwhelms, just take the belt off Kenta. Take Kenta off the TV. I don't want to see him no more.
Good. This is over. He's like, it's over.
It's over. So, that's my take on it. It's just another, the table spot was wild, but I think the brawling aspect of it, after they came back from the curtain, I was like, that was my feeling. Like I said, it might not be completely true. This might have been the plan for the whole match the whole time. But for me, it's like they went behind the curtain. Kenta told Hikuleo, yo, we got to change this shit up. We got to do something different, bro.
No, I think this was the plan from the beginning, because that plays into the whole entire story of the matchup when they went behind the curtain and everything. I got Alan Banky saying this match was fun. SP3 and J-News, Kenta and Hikuleo said, y'all will respect our name, damn it. They heard us. They heard us,
man.
On the Don't Talk review.
Some people say, y'all ain't got enough followers and fans on the internet. Listen, man, I think NJPW pays close enough attention to me and SP3 to understand there is some booking over there that's going on that we like to highlight in our preview shows, folks.
I said on the Twitter machine, I was like, I started my day waking up at 5 a.m. for Best of Super Juniors, and I ended my day with New Japan Resurgence. Ain't a lot of content creators shooting in this New Japan gym like me. No. So that's all we say. We go hard in the paint for New Japan on this channel. New Japan videos don't do the best algorithms, don't always give us the biggest amount of views, but we stay consistent with it because we love NJPW. I said it before, I'll say it again. NJPW is my favorite promotion. People can say I'm biased, or I like certain things in WWE that you don't like, or I like certain things in AEW that you don't like. I will the promotion that I really will defend and I really will give them some passes for, NJPW.
That's right, man. I die on the New Japan Hill every week. I don't watch live because, God damn it, I got other shit to do at 3:00 in the morning. But I will die on the New Japan
Oh man,
Hill.
I was looking at that time start for Dominion. I was like, oh man, I've been really enjoying these 5 a.m. starts because my kids already get me up at 5, so I'm used to seeing 5 a.m. But 3 a.m.
It's crazy, bro, because it's like I tell folks all the time, and it's like I'm still working at that time sometimes, but it's like that's the tail end of my shift. I was like, I want to go to sleep, so I'll watch later. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it used to be dope when I used to work overnight at the hotel, and then New Japan would come on. I'd be showing the security, my homie security, Frisco. Shout out to you if you still watch the videos. Yeah, I used to have him watching the New Japan shows with me, man. It used to be dope. Overnight, watching New Japan.
Yeah. At the end of the day, that's what it works for us to understand the time differences and stuff like that or whatever. But nah, man, I think that and I always tell you, yo, I'll watch later on in the day or later on in the night just to catch up and stuff like that. I've been watching forever, man. It's just I don't even, sometimes it's like time escapes me and it's like, have I really been watching wrestling this long in my lifetime? But it's like, yeah, it's been that long.
It's been that long, my dude. We got Ninja Mortis who says, please let Kenta be great, ? Why does Kato hate Kenta? All things considered, match was better than I expected. And he also says, Ninja Mortis, give us King's Road, Kenta, you cowards.
Coward. Damn right, Ninja Mortis. That's my expectation. Right. And usually I don't like to have expectation going into matches, but Eddie Kingston, Kenta, King's Road, it needs to, we need more than one match, first of all, because people forget that the King's Road matches were more than one match at the end of the day. So we need more matches from those two guys in whatever kind of environment you want to have it in. Even if the first match is at a strong pay-per-view, give us that shit at Forbidden Door as well, just for the sake of having it. and things of
Well,
that nature.
where I think we're gonna get this matchup, if he recovers quickly enough, is NJPW made a big announcement on
Yeah,
this
right,
show
right, right, right.
that NJPW Strong will finally have their first show in Japan coming up on July 4th and 5th. They're gonna have New Japan Strong Independence Day at Kurgan Hall. If you know New Japan, Kurgan Hall, I think is the best. It's the best place, especially watching Best of Super Juniors. The two best matches in the Best of Super Juniors, spoiler alert, both happen in Kurgan Hall with Speedball Mike Bailey versus Hiromu Takahashi and Francisco Akira versus El Desperado from yesterday, happening in Kurgan Hall. And now New Japan Strong is heading to Kurgan Hall. They announced that Fred Rosser will be on the show, Tom Lawler, and the rest of Team Filthy, JR Kratos, and the West Coast Wrecking Crew, Royce Isaac and Jarrell Nelson.
Jesus
yes,
Christ.
your favorites, J-News. You're also going to have Rocky Romero on this show. Eddie Kingston will be on this show, as well as Hiroshi Tanahashi. Independence Day, New Japan Strong Independence Day coming up on July 4th and 5th. What do you think about this announcement? I immediately got questions when I tweeted this out that people are like, well, I thought New Japan Strong is only about doing shows in the U.S., acting like they can't go to Japan. I was like, they never said they weren't gonna go to Japan. Like, come on.
I just so concept here, guys, right? Concept, right? Let's look at the surface of it, right? So we have the Independence Day logo, right? It is Lady Liberty, right? And it's Lady Liberty, and Lady Liberty is going to be depicted in Japan here. It just doesn't make much sense.
Yeah.
there's
You got me
just, you know what I'm saying? I'm not too sure as to how we're doing this. It's not Independence Day in Japan. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what are we doing?
You're having an Independence Day show for your American side of New Japan in Japan.
It's like, I don't know about this. It's just a little confusing. But I feel like the show itself, because it's going to be a pair of shows, it's going to be on the 4th and the 5th.
Yeah.
So having Eddie go to Japan, I'm not too sure if Eddie's ever been to Japan before.
No. I don't think his dream was always to either be in Japan for New Japan Pro Wrestling or All Japan.
All Japan, right.
So regardless of if he's ever been to Japan before, this is his dream.
This is
to have a New Japan show that he's on in Japan.
This is something that this is a bucket list thing for him. And if whatever match he has, he's going to make it the best match he's ever had. That much about Eddie Kingston, and I'm looking forward to it. As per that Team Filthy crap, I don't give a crap about those guys. Those guys don't give me anything. They don't tell me anything. At the end of the day, it's like, I get it. The Japanese crowd's gonna be behind them. The clapping chants. Whatever.
I'm gonna need Negro Bug, Nick Jackson. If you're watching this on demand, you can comment and let me know if you heard this. But I'm gonna need you to write a disclaimer for J-News that the thoughts of J-News in concern to Team Filthy is the thoughts of J-News and not True Hill Heat.
Only me. That's why I say it's only my opinion. At the end of the day, J-News does not drag anyone else with him. I am completely accountable for my own thoughts, my own words. At the end of the day, Team Filthy sucks. That is all J-News.
That is the word of J-News. Joe Jimenez saying, I felt bad for Hikuleo. They said, get your ass on a plane for 10 hours, climb the bleachers, fall through a table, lose your title, and presumably go back on a plane. Ha ha ha. I don't know. Do you think, final question about this matchup is, do you think that this is the official kind of write-off for GOD? Because you had Hikuleo win the championship and then immediately lose it. You had the whole thing with Tama Tonga. Both guys have been, speculated of WWE looking after them. And I know there was a Twitter space. We won't talk about the other half of the Twitter space, but on the Twitter space, it was backup Hangman from Wrestle Purist who said that his sources say that WWE's hiring freeze is over. So could we possibly see WWE once again looking at Hikuleo and Tama Tonga, or do you think that we have seen the last of GOD in New Japan?
Listen, man, I'm the reality of the situation is, as much as a fanboy of New Japan as I am, I also understand that cats need to put food on the table. I understand that guys need to make money, and the WWE is where you can make the most money as a professional wrestler. At the end of the day, I don't knock them for wanting to go there if that's what's going to happen. I just feel like I'm not too sure as to what it is that they're going to be able to do over there. Like Hikuleo, he hits a demographic, right? He's a big man, so they'll be able to do whatever they do with big men with Hikuleo. But what's Tama gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Like, they look at what they did with him over 10 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's just, I don't know. I don't know if this is gonna go well for them unless they're gonna go full out club. You know what I'm saying? Like Savage Club on WWE TV. I don't know what it is that they're going to do for them from a creative standpoint, how highlighted they're going to be, and things of that nature. But go get your money, man. Go get the bread. Go get them dollars. Support the family. Support the kids, because I know that family's huge. So
this is true. This is true. Whatever May wants, listen to him or he'll hurt you.
Exactly.
We also got Alan Bankey says, "Hey SP3, will the show be on pay-per-view only or on a regular NJPW World?" Well, all these shows are on NJPW World. It's just usually the New Japan Strong shows are for an additional price. So you could still, get your New Japan World subscription. You're just going to have to pay extra for these shows. So I'm going to presume, since it is a New Japan Strong show, despite it being in Japan, it probably will be for a little bit more money. And
the PPV price will be first, and then wait if it comes down to it, wait the 2 weeks if you don't want to pay ahead of time or whatever. But outside of that, you'll have to pay the extra, whatever it is, $23 or $22 that they charge you.
And we got Frantic World that said, "I wanted to see GOD versus FTR."
Yeah, I don't think we gonna get that.
Ninja Boy is saying Tongans to WWE. I could definitely see it. I can see it. Especially with, like you said, Hikuleo's size, it just fits with WWE.
Yeah.
Next, we got J-News. Another one of my favorite things on this show. 6-man tag team action. You had Chaos represented by Rocky Romero, Kazuchika Okada, and Tomohiro Ishii going up against the team of the Blackpool Combat Club's Wheeler Yuta and Jon Moxley, along with Shota Umino. Can I just say, Shooter and Okada. Can we just put it flat out there? When it comes to New Japan, the best rivalry of the year for New Japan Pro Wrestling is Okada versus the Unruly Children. Because Okada, as the former president of the fraternity, who has now moved next door to the fraternity and is telling all the fraternity kids to get off his grass, is the best version of Okada. The Dick Okada, who wanted nothing to do with Shooter from the very start of this matchup, even getting out of the ring when Shooter wanted to fight him and letting Tomohiro Ishii fight him until he just had enough of Shooter attacking him on the apron and just started bashing this kid and taunting him after he taunted him, kicking him, irritated with him, dropping a boot on his face, then taking him to the outside, throwing him into the barricade, throwing a beer on him. Okada dropped Shooter in the ring with a flapjack before tagging out to Rocky. Rocky and Shooter started going at it before Shooter tags out to Wheeler Yuta. I loved Wheeler Yuta as well in this matchup. He had a couple of good exchanges with both Shooter as well as Tomohiro Ishii. That was a lot of fun in this one. Shooter and the BCC kind of working together at certain points look good as well. But man, Shooter and Tomohiro Ishii had some nice exchanges. But when you talk about next level, there was just levels above everything else. When this dude Jon Moxley got in Okada's face after Okada did the Rainmaker pose. Oh my God. The response from these fans was fucking electric. Anytime these two were in the ring, everybody had to be saying, okay, this is the match. Give us to us at Forbidden Door. Just stop wasting time. Give us who it is in a month in Toronto. Have that sold out crowd in Toronto go crazy for these guys. It would just be fucking magic. It just would. We got the great exchange of different finishers at the end here. Everybody's coming in with their different moves. Okada drops Moxley with the big Rainmaker, which got an electric reaction from this Long Beach fans. Amino comes in, he makes the save, he hits the Death Rider on Okada, and then he follows up and he drops Rocky Romero with an Okada drop kick, and then follows up with the Death Rider to get the 1-2-3. Shota Umino getting the win for the Blackpool Combat Club over Rocky Romero, celebrating with them after, still exchanging words and still talking trash and taunting Okada after the fact. This matchup was just an excellent encounter in itself, and just an amazing foreshadowing or preview for what we're going to see at Dominion for the Never Openweight 6-man tag team titles when you throw in Tanahashi into this, and maybe it's Yuta, or maybe it's Claudio, or maybe it's Brian. If it's Claudio or Brian, it's going to be even a greater matchup than what we saw here. But I fucking love this matchup. This is the type of wrestling that I love. I love trios action, but I feel like New Japan trios are just might be a level above everything else. But this match itself, I gave 4.25 stars. Just an excellent trios matchup. The different combinations were just great, and it just made me more excited for what we're gonna see on June 4th at Dominion. And like I said, Okada and Shooter, and Okada versus the Unruly Children, best feud, maybe top 3 feud in the business. It's right up there with Blackpool Combat Club and the Elite for me. But what did you think about this match and Okada, Shooter, Okada, Moxley?
I think that give us Moxley versus Okada at Forbidden Door, right? I want to see that. Eventually, I want to see Shooter versus Okada. Where, I don't know.
That's a long-term.
That's long. Exactly.
We're years away from Shooter eventually being able to beat Okada.
Yeah.
Maybe we get the matchup, the first time one-on-one in the G1, but that's going to be the first of many, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think that Shooter leaving Okada laying before he gets the pin on Rocky was a telltale sign, y'all. Listen, I think that for me the match started out a bit slow. And I was like, oh, where are we going with this? Where's the patented high speed action or hard hitting action and stuff like that? Wheeler Yuta, I have to say this about Wheeler, because I've been a Wheeler Yuta fan since he bled in to the Blackpool Combat Club. You'll get that reference if you get that reference. At the end of the day, he needs to go to Minoru Suzuki Striking School. You know what I'm saying? Those hits need to land harder, and they need to make an impact at the end of the day. We need heavier hitting from Wheeler Yuta to be a little bit more believable in the role he's playing now. That's all I'm saying. I think it's more about the sell and more about how it sounds than anything else. That's all I got to say about that. But I think that Wheeler did a good job in this match overall. Shooter consistently going after Okada, to me, was the story of the match. Shooter wants a piece. He got himself a piece at the end of the day. So he wanted all the smoke, son. He wants all the smoke. Tomohiro Ishii, fantastic. I say it every time we talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling. I know he's winding down his career, but he's still above and beyond above and beyond a lot of other wrestlers, and how from a style standpoint, he puts things, and his selling is top notch.
And I love that Moxley has embraced his selling, because if you've noticed Moxley on Rampage and in this match, he does the he'll take a big move and he'll power up, and then eventually he'll sell it, and he does the stumble like Ishii. It's great. It's great every single time.
So I think a lot of what we saw in this match puts us towards that 6-man match is going to be going down at Dominion. I think it'll be Wheeler to be the third man in the match. If they do have Claudio or Brian do it, great. Like you said, it just make the match even better. And obviously Tanahashi on the other side for the other team. Man, I want to see Shooter versus Okada. I really want to see it. You know, for Forbidden Door purposes, yeah, Mox versus Okada for Forbidden Door purposes, no doubt.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, give me Shooter versus Okada, in a match where they just try to take each other's heads off. That's really what it's all about for me. So that's what I'm looking forward to there. Yeah.
We got Ninja Mortis saying, I said it on Twitter, but put the whole BCC in the G1. Mox, Dragon, Twist, Utes, Shooter, let's fucking go. We did even get Shooter kind of teasing that he would be joining BCC on his Instagram, but I don't see Tony Khan letting the entire Blackpool.
Exactly.
They're too important to what they do, and Dragon, if you've noticed it watching AEW, they haven't been letting Dragon do anything physical. So I don't see him then turning around a few months later and putting him in the G1. But Mox, I think that's a possibility. That can be a possibility. Mox in the G1 again.
I think Mox and Claudio, people, listen, forever and a day for the last 17, 18 years, we've been sleeping on Claudio Castagnoli. For those of us who just know, we know Claudio in the G1, would be amazing, I think. Just because of this style, it matches Japanese strong style. He'll put on a clinic technically if he has to. I want to see Claudio in the G1, man. I really, really do. Just from a size aspect, that he oversizes people anyways, but just from a style aspect, the hitting aspect, I want to see Claudio Castagnoli versus Tomohiro Ishii one-on-one. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. But yeah, man, that would be that to me would be dope. But to SP3's point, yeah, Tony's not going to let the entire BCC go to the freaking G1 unless the blow off is after Double or Nothing, where like if the Elite win, then write them off TV, then you can do it, honestly. Yeah. But from there, it's like, yeah.
But even then, that's too long.
Yeah. Even then, that's
G1 is going to start in July.
Like, so that's about a month.
You're not going to have them for June. You're not going to have them for Forbidden Door. Like, come on, nah.
Yeah, no, that doesn't make no sense.
It ain't happening. Pokey Stan saying they could do Mox versus Okada, Tanahashi versus Danielson, and Ishii versus Claudio at Forbidden Door. That would be great. I fucks with all of those matches. I love all of those matches because I would do the Danielson Tanahashi because it looks like they're positioning ZSJ versus Samoa Joe. So I wouldn't mind that as an alternative to Danielson and Sabre Jr.
I think they'll do the tag route. Like I think it'll be like I don't think it'll be Tanahashi and Ishii, the butting heads, them together versus Claudio and Danielson. That way, they can cover Daniel, being that he's been injured all this entire time.
If you're gonna do that, you might as well just do the real BCC versus Team Okada, Tanahashi, and Ishii. Just do the never open weight 6-man tag team titles. It's a natural progression, and then you basically have done it over 3 major shows: Resurgence,
okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Dominion, and then Forbidden Door.
Yeah, I think that'll probably be the case, because if they that way if they let Brian into the match. Let's say he's not in the first 2 matches, right? He wasn't in this match, and let's say he's not in the match at Dominion. If they let him into the match at Forbidden Door, obviously, you cover him. He doesn't have to do as much work, and that makes the most sense. That makes the most sense.
Also get Danielson and Okada.
Oh yeah.
Oh, let's go.
And you also get the my dream match. You also get the Claudio versus Ishii. So you get that in there. So,
everything. You hit all the markers right there. Joe Jimenez saying Danielson hasn't touched since the MJF match. I hope he's okay. I think they're putting him in bubble wrap and preparing him for the big shows. Double or Nothing is going to be his first real match where he gets physical again. Then he'll probably be involved in, if they're going to do Blood and Guts, they're going to do Forbidden Door, all that good stuff. We got here. Also, Valaby making a good point. Utes is too small. Utes is a junior. He's a junior.
Yeah, he's a junior. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Joel saying Claudio would have classics in Japan if he could be in the G1. Most definitely. But yes, man, when you talk about back-to-back matches, this is where this show is cooking with gas. Because next up was the semi-main event, IWGP United States Championship #1 contenders tournament. You had Will Ospreay going one-on-one with Hiroshi Tanahashi, and I just love this. Was a masterclass in pacing and escalation, in my opinion, because both men were playing to the audience early on. You had them both having an air guitar versus air drums battle early on because they were amping up the crowd. You had Ospreay taking the lead, sending Tanahashi to the floor where he hits a giant crossbody to secure the lead. Back in the ring, Ospreay continued to pick apart Tanahashi, and they talked about him really controlling the pace of this matchup. Eventually, Tanahashi is able to open the door and get some momentum for himself. Senton off the middle rope. Ospreay is able to regain control. It just kept going back and forth. The ebb and flow of this matchup was just so flawless. Ospreay tries for the hidden blade, but Tanahashi is able to spark up. He drops Ospreay with a drop kick to the knee, and really became his focus, hitting the dragon screw, eventually getting the cloverleaf on. I just love the angle in which he gets the cloverleaf, because it also was going on Ospreay's injured shoulder as well. We get a nice little strike exchange where Ospreay just had the advantage in that standpoint. He climbs to the top where he hits a big forearm, a phenomenal forearm to the back of the head of Tanahashi, which looked vicious. He goes for a Stormbreaker, but Tanahashi is able to reverse out into a Sling Blade. He hits a second Sling Blade for a near fall. He goes for the high fly flow, but Ospreay stands up and he's able to roll through. He then hits a double stomp to the chest of Tanahashi. He goes and sets up for the Os Cutter. He gets a near fall on that one. He then goes to the corner, eventually hitting the hidden blade, and then he follows up with the Stormbreaker. 1, 2, 3. Will Ospreay getting the win. This one went just about, I believe, 16, 17 minutes, but just a tremendous bout between two of the best in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Will Ospreay, among the best in the world, and Tanahashi, one of the best of all time. Ospreay now moves on and advances to the finals of the #1 contenders tournament to face Lance Archer at Dominion on June 4th, with the winner going on to first Kenny Omega for the IWGP United States Championship. Just an excellent bout, tremendous back and forth, and like I said, just a masterclass in how to pace a big time matchup in New Japan Pro Wrestling. I give this one 4.5 stars. What did you think, J-News?
I was worried coming into this match, and I'll say, and that's me being completely honest. Billy has been talking about changing his style, adapting to a less physical style, just so he can save his body and things of that nature and whatnot. I saw none of that here. I saw none of that here. Look. I wish all the best for every professional wrestler. Stay safe out there. Do your training. Back to the Hulk Hogan days. Eat your vitamins. Get your sleep in. And do all the damn things, or whatever the case, to take care of yourselves as best as you can. But when you have to change your style, it's because you just keep getting these big injuries. And Will's injuries are there. Some are long term. That neck thing is never going to go away from him, or go away for him for whatever. So he needs to be able to do pain management with that. But everything else is like knick-knack type stuff. So he just needs to be a little bit more body aware in that sense of how to safeguard himself while during the matches. And maybe he might need to slow the pace down a little bit instead of doing things a little as fast as he does them, right? Because he's not a junior anymore, so he doesn't need pace as much, depending on the match, right? So I think that looking at what he did in this match versus Tana, I called it the emotionality of Tanahashi at his age still is able to suck us in, reel us in, have us believe that he is going to be. He's just going to be Tanahashi at the end of the day. And for the match to go off as well as it did, credence and kudos to them, because I thought this might have been a bit of a slog, just going into with the mindset of, oh, Billy's going to change his freaking style. Tana's another year older. He hasn't been as crisp in the ring as of late. Nah, man, that all went out the window during this match. So that was cool for me to see. When Will used the hidden blade into the Stormbreaker for the win, I didn't figure he was gonna do that to get the win. I
thought he was just going to hit the
yeah,
Stormbreaker because he'd been talking about how he needed to switch his finisher because of how the damage to his shoulder, but still did it here with a large individual in Tanahashi.
For me, it was like, oh, I thought he was just going to use the hidden blade and that was going to be it, right? So, but when he did the Stormbreaker, I was like, well, here we go. Here's the torque on the shoulder, brother. I was like, I don't know how you're gonna manage this one. So, I think he needs to pick his spots with that finisher. Like when it comes to the heavier guys, lay off of that. See what maybe use the super Os cutter or whatever the case is. Just
the hidden blade. Hidden
blade.
Just the hidden blade.
Yeah, the hidden. Exactly.
Or,
you know, make sure you take the pad off before it, and then you're knocking people out or whatever. And fantastic match. What can you say? Another New Japan staple classic here between Will Ospreay and Tanahashi. Always give Tanahashi the credit for doing what he does at his age, the way he does it. Just because it's like, will this man ever stop? That's really my question. I was like, sometimes I have it in my head. I was like, will this man ever stop? And it's like, because sometimes it's just so hard to watch him wrestle, right?
Yeah.
Just because of the pace of the match. And just like, you can see how bad his knees are. And it's like, oh man, Tana, man, maybe take it easy here, brother. Like you might not want to do this today. And then it comes out of him. And it's like, man, I'm just, I don't know what to say half the time. But just to be able to see them still perform at a high level and give the Long Beach crowd such a terrific match was dope to see. Yeah, man. Will goes on. I mean, this little US title tournament is tailor-made for him, right? Yeah. This feud is far from over.
Please just do the hidden blade against Lance Archer. Will, that's all I ask.
Yeah, for
we
sure.
need you here for a while.
Yeah.
Don't try doing the Stormbreaker on Lance.
That to me is something that he needs to, lay off of there. Like I said, the Super Os cutter I think would work fine. Maybe the hidden blade Super Os cutter combo. But that would be the knockout blow.
The Super Os cutter and then the hidden blade.
There you go. Yeah. But whatever combination of that together to knock out Lance Archer would be great. I need to see Will Ospreay perform some jumping knees. I need to see that happen.
Do the V trigger. Do the V trigger again, like you did against Okada. Come on, just do it.
I need to see that in a match. The V triggers into the ropes. Maybe how many times that last Ishimori match I watched in the Super Juniors, I saw Ishimori do a jumping knee so many times. I was like, what is this? What the hell is going on, bro?
Kenny Omega tribute session. Yo, I was at this point, man. I was just like, man, this might be the best US show from New Japan, like ever. Not just this year, but that I ever seen. Right up there with like G1 Supercard from 4 years ago. But then we had the main event of the show for the NJPW Strong Women's Championship. First time women main eventing a New Japan show anywhere. And it's two African-American women in Mercedes Moné and Willow Nightingale. Love that both women decided to switch up their gear for the main event matchup. And Mercedes. We know you on Disney Plus, but you ain't got to go this hard. You ain't have to go this hard. Yo, the Snow White gear.
The Snow White gear. Yo, she's been. I'll say this, man. She's been going all out with the gear and the pomp and the presentation and stuff like that. I'll give Mercedes all that. You know what I'm saying? It's all about the glamour. Like you both like for both ladies to go through the outfit change for the end of the night, it's like, okay, we doing something a little different here. Okay, do something a little different. I feel that.
Star power right here. This just felt like this had the big match feel from the onset. Like before the bell even rings, you can hear the crowd kind of just getting up. And then the bell rings and they just erupted. This is awesome chants. The crowd is just absolutely electric, giving both women an extended standing ovation. And then the action started with Mercedes giving a headlock to Willow after Willow used a handshake to work Mercedes to the mat. Willow answered with one of the nastiest pounces I think I've ever seen. She pounced Mercedes' soul out of her goddamn body. And this was like in the opening 2 minutes of the matchup. Willow really controlled the pace and really worked this match like she was Aja Kong. Like it was just power upon power, and also showing her agility with like little cartwheels, step up insecurity that left Mercedes grounded. Mercedes selling, which is great throughout this match, allowing kind of Willow to dictate everything. She hits a big spine buster at one point, and then locks in a deep Boston crab. Once Moné escapes, Willow's able to host her to the top rope, and then hits one of the most brutal superplexes I think I've seen in quite some time, especially in a women's matchup, for a near fall. Mercedes began to fight back with a bunch of strikes. She then climbed to the top rope where Willow met her, and this is where the injury happens, ladies and gentlemen, because I said this to J-News that I peeped it from the beginning,
I didn't see it from the start. Yeah, that was.
And then other people kind of put it up on social media where they saw the same thing that I did, where they're fighting on the top rope, and Mercedes basically drops and basically tries to hang Willow on the top rope down on her neck, but she drops all the way from the top rope down to the floor, and then immediately you can see she's favoring her ankle or knee, and it just looks like she's limping. She goes and follows up. She tries to do the basically the bank statement, which is the backstabber into the crossface. And when she does the backstabber part, she doesn't use her knees. She basically just does a zigzag and then flips over into the crossface. Willow's able to power out, hitting a brutal doctor bomb for basically a near fall, because the referee was like, that's not the finish. And yeah, you can see the referee at this point kind of looking at the doctor and just being like, I don't know what happened, because Mercedes clearly did not kick out of that. She then follows up immediately with a second doctor bomb. 1, 2, 3. Willow Nightingale defeats Mercedes Moné. This was a shocking result in general. Dave Meltzer on the Wrestling Observer Radio last night said that it was believed that Mercedes was scheduled to win, but I'll give it all the credit in the world if this was an audible made by Mercedes, because it gave us a special moment. Mercedes gets carried out, doesn't even, not even carry, like leaning on somebody's shoulder, literally carried out after the matchup. But it's all about Willow Nightingale in the post-match. And what a night for Willow Nightingale. One of the nicest, kindest, ultimate baby faces in professional wrestling, regardless of gender, and someone that we've kind of watched become this underdog that the fans have gotten behind, just 29 years old, and had a dream match against, like she said after the matchup, the most prolific wrestler of her generation and cut an excellent promo. If this was not planned, man, that's even bigger, that she cut this promo off the rip, just tears in her eyes. She thanked everyone, including Mercedes, and she says that this is only the beginning for Willow Nightingale. It could not happen to a nicer individual. Willow Nightingale is the first ever NJPW Strong Women's Champion. I think the awkward finish aside, this was an awesome match. This was an really awesome match. Worked the big. It was like the big woman, little woman size. The size and power of Willow versus the speed and the skill and the experience of Mercedes Moné, and they worked it great. Despite the injury going on, they still worked this one completely. If it wasn't for the awkward finish, I don't think a lot of us would have known that Mercedes was even injured. But I thought this was an awesome matchup. I gave it 4.25 stars, and I'm being generous with the quarter because I originally rated it 4 stars, but the 4.25 because I think that they were shaping up to have a fantastic. If they would have went 5 more minutes without the injury, this would be a women's match of the year candidate. But just the energy of the crowd mixed with these two women working the match brilliantly, I thought this was a great main event to the show. What did you think, J-News?
I felt same way, man. Same, bro. I feel like I said at the beginning of the show, like Willow Nightingale to me is certainly underrated. The way they've booked her, the way they've presented her on AEW TV, it doesn't do her any justice. I know that's in the last month and a half that she's been doing good work on ROH TV. I don't watch it enough because I don't have ROH as a streaming service, so I don't know. But just to see her do what she did in this match, I would have loved to have seen more of the physicality and her agility used outside of just the power. From a work rate standpoint, just so that it could show that Willow can keep up and not have to use all the power all the time. You know what I'm saying? Because you're in there with Mercedes Moné at the end of the day, and maybe she'll outsmart you just by you using your power all the time. You know what I'm saying? So for her to be able to keep up and do that sort of thing, I would have liked to have seen more of that. That's probably what we would have gotten if Mercedes didn't get injured. Like I was saying, while you were going through the match highlights and stuff like that, I didn't notice it. Like when Mercedes came, so when Mercedes hung up Willow, to me, the spot was dangerous because I told you last night, she barely cleared the post. I thought she was going to hit her head or whatever. So I was like, whoa, what is she doing? Because I don't ever see her do that ever. So when she came, when
I thought she was setting
down,
up for like a sunset flip bomb,
something,
and then she went the other way with it.
Mm-hmm. I thought something got messed up there or whatever the case is. But then when she came down, I was like, oh, okay, so whatever. She slipped back in the ring, but I didn't notice her limping. And then when you sent me the link to the video of her not hitting the back cracker with her knees, I was like, oh, okay, I didn't even notice that. So hopefully she gets well soon. Hopefully it's nothing too serious and she doesn't have to go under the knife. Because when it comes to ankle stuff, it's just difficult to come back from. In that estimation, but props to Willow Nightingale for winning this match and getting this championship. I think that she could lend a lot to New Japan Strong in that sense, being a champion. Maybe they'll be able to have a champion versus champion match at sometime down the road, her versus Athena. And make it an all-out Joshi battle. You know what I'm saying? So
they had and even better than this match was Athena versus Willow Nightingale. That was an absolute banger on Ring of Honor TV. And like I said, I think if it wasn't for the injury and the awkward finish, this match would have been better than that match. Would have probably even been better than Mercedes and Kyrie, which is right in my like top 5, type 6 for the best women's matches of the year. But this was a great matchup. It just is sad that it had to end that way. And with Mercedes being injured, shout outs to WWE's Tamina, who apparently helped Mercedes in the back. She was there to support Mercedes. Also, if you're a Mandalorian fan, Bobo Katan was there in the crowd.
Oh, really?
Bo-Katan was there? Yeah, Bobo Katan was there in the crowd supporting Mercedes. That was great stuff I saw on social media. Just, oh man, it should have just been one of the best nights of her career, regardless of if she was planning to win or not. I think that even her losing, if she was supposed to lose, this would have been great because this would have showed all the fans how unselfish she is, because she did the show to put over Willow and give Willow the biggest win of her career.
And I think, and for all intents and purposes, and obviously speaking hypothetically and stuff like that, if Willow was slated to win the entire time, it probably would have set up a rematch of Forbidden Door at the end of the day. And it would have became something personal because Mercedes feels like she has to be the champion. It would have been something to that effect, I feel. And it would have spotlighted Willow in a different way. Would it to who's Ninja Mortis said it. He said Willow's booking is about to change, right, TK? Exactly. You have to put her in a different freaking spotlight at this point. She's a champion elsewhere. And New Japan's no joke, man. No joke at all. I want to see who's going to compete against Willow in this strong women's division, who they're going to bring to her as opponents. I would like to see a match between her and Stephanie Vaquer. I would like to see that match.
After her performance, she deserves to get more looks from New Japan.
I want to see that. Give me a match between her and Steph DeLander. What about that? Ooh, give me a match versus her and Steph DeLander, because Matt Cardona out here pimping this girl, and she's doing God's work right now, being next to him. Whatever the case is, so that is what that is. But man, I'll say this: the beginning of the match, the beginning of this match to me meant everything. Now, no doubt, we had Sasha Banks, we had Bianca Belair at WrestleMania, we had that, right? But outside of it, understanding New Japan's history as a company, right? This was a bigger deal right at the end of the day. Not to say that the WWE didn't have the same history, but it's just women main eventing, 2 black women at that. The crowd
for a company that traditionally male dominated company.
Yeah, exactly. And on top of everything else, the crowd completely behind the both of them, them both being fan favorites and stuff like that. Just give me more of what it is that these ladies are going to bring to the table. I don't know, like outside of Stephanie Vaquer, maybe like I said, an Athena rematch or whatever. I know Kylie King, she's been doing great work over at Freaking Impact. Maybe if you can facilitate that somewhere. Bring Trin if you can, bro. Bring Trin if you can, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because I would like to see it. Yeah, man. At the end of the day, I think that the show overall was terrific. It was wild. It was exciting. Everybody outside of the freaking starter matches, the pre-show matches. I think
that had nothing to do with the performance.
Yeah, with the performance.
Yeah, more exactly. To do with New Japan's planning out of how they let the fans in.
Yeah. That exactly. I think everybody came off well in everything. Big shouts to the refs in this event. The lady ref, the
Scarlett Donovan.
She was terrific, man. Hadn't seen her before, and I was like, yo, she's really playing it well. I'm a Ref Aubrey apologist, but at the end of the day, it's like she's not a character. But so it is what it is there. And my main man, Ref Taito, man. That's that man taking the stair bump and still being able to do what he did in this show.
Main evented the main event.
Still main evented the main event.
And a great job by commentary as well. I noted on my social media after the show.
Oh yeah,
I think Ian Riccaboni, Alex Kozlov, and especially Veda Scott. Veda Scott sold the hell out of Willow winning. Like she legit sounded like she was crying. Like
she was though.
I know she was, but it was like the emotional type of win. Ian Riccaboni finally got to do his Jim Ross. Stone Cold just won the world championship because he's been such a big supporter of Willow Nightingale, talking about how his wife's favorite wrestler is Willow Nightingale. Like that, the commentary did a great job, and they also covered for the whole awkward finish as well. I thought they did a good job at that. All the refs, commentators, they did a great job. Just overall, like I said, but even before the main event, and then this main event was the perfect cherry on top. In my opinion, the best New Japan strong US show that they've ever had is this
for sure, man.
Show.
I'm with you there, man. I'm with you there. There's no way around that. Vala B making this comment about Jeremy Marcus couldn't pull that off. That's right. Jerome couldn't have done nothing. Jerome couldn't have done nothing.
Jerome, no. Joel Jimenez saying Scarlett is great. Yeah, she's great in everywhere. I've seen her in GCW as well. Great job all around. Let us know in the live chat. You gave the show thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle. Out of 10, what did you give NJPW Resurgence 2023? What was your match of the night, MVP and LVP for the show? Let's put our thumbs in the middle, J-News, for NJPW Resurgence 2023 in 3, 2, 1. Thumbs up across the board. 2 thumbs up from the both of us. Out of 10, what did you give the show, J-News?
4 where we're talking about New Japan strong, the evolution, the growth, the fanfare now. This is a 9.5 out of 10 show for me. It took me back to the days of ECW's Living Dangerously 1997, baby.
This would be the building they would do Living Dangerously in 2023.
Damn right, man. Damn right. Nah, man. It was dope. It was dope to me. I always put it like in a vacuum just because I don't compare and contrast the companies, just because we understand that it's different products, even strong from New Japan proper, right? It's like for a strong show, that's why it's like this is a 9.5 for me, because the collision shows were good. Battle in the Valley was great just from a promotional standpoint and what Mercedes was able to bring to the show and the matches overall. But this from start to finish, yeah, they knocked this one out the park, man. They knocked this one out the park. But yeah,
I love it. I not as high as you, but I will go 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. The same rating I gave to Wrestle Kingdom, same rating I gave to Sakura Genesis. This is right up there. Those are the three best New Japan shows overall for 2023, with Battle in the Valley just behind Resurgence. I gave it a 9 out of 10. The only things that prevent me from giving it 9.5 or 10 out of 10 is just the awkward finish. I think if this matchup, the main event, reaches its full capacity, I'm right there with you at 9.5 out of 10. And wasn't that enamored with Hikuleo and Kenta. I liked it more than I liked Dantaku, but still. And then the kickoff matches as well. I think if they would have had the crowd be there for them, maybe this is even a higher rating. But 9 out of 10 for me, most definitely. We got Bonkers giving it a thumbs up. Joel giving it a thumbs up. He gives it an 8.5 out of 10. He said it was more than I expected, which was amazing. I was hoping for a Shibata appearance.
Word. Yeah. Joel's right about that, man. I feel like after Coughlin won his match, I would have liked to have seen the wrestler. You know what I'm saying? So, but we didn't get that.
And hit that first note. Valabi saying MVP, woman overall, LVP roster for the Kiss spot. We'll start with LVP, and I agree with him. It's Fred Rosser.
No, well, okay. The spot. I would say the spot is the LVP because Fred did the damn thing in this match. He kicked ass. He brought the violence and everything else in between. It was just the spot, man. Like Fred, bruh, what was going through your head, man? Like, we know you out here in these streets, bro. Like, you out here, you talking about blocking the hate. You wearing the rainbow. Like, come on, dog. What you doing? You breaking kayfabe now?
That math ain't mathing, bruh.
Exactly.
That
man.
math ain't mathing.
It didn't make no sense, man. It didn't make no sense. That spot to me just was unnecessarily completely. That Kiss spot was unnecessary. MVP
for you. Well, we both agree on LVP. Yeah, MVP. Yeah. Who you got?
MVP, man. Who is the MVP of this here tonight? Damn, bro. You know what, man? For Wallaby's right, man. I think the women took the cake, bro. The women took the cake. All the girls showed out, man. All the girls showed out, and you know, hopefully Mercedes gets well soon. I want to see more of Stephanie Vaquer, Momo Kogo. Give me a tag team of Momo Kogo and Riho, and we're all out. We're all out, and I'm all in for that. You know what I'm saying? Give me a
all out and all in. Yeah, baby. Let's go. I'm with you. Momo Kogo and Riho would be amazing.
That would be amazing to me. But yeah, the ladies definitely kicked ass overall. I mean, obviously Willow for winning the championship. Hopefully they book this in a way that's just going to spotlight all the women, right? You can keep Willow strong as long for whatever amount of time you want to keep her strong. But I think the diversity in styles and matches that you can bring with her being the champion is a plus. So yeah, definitely the women.
Yeah, all 4 women that were on this show, and even Toni Storm. Yes,
all the women.
All the women. Scarlett Donovan, Beta Scott, all the women on this show deserve the MVP for the show. But most of all, we'll give the biggest gold medal to Willow Nightingale, becoming the first ever NJPW Strong Women's Champion. But Willow Nightingale, Mercedes Moné, Stephanie Vaquer, and Momo Kogo, as well as Scarlett Donovan and Veda Scott. Also Emily May backstage doing the backstage interviews. We'll give it to all 7 women that were on this show, and Toni Storm, 8 women on this show deserve the MVP honor. So yes, I agree with Vala B on that one as well. Match of the night, J-News. Who you got?
Ooh.
That's the difficult one, because I go just off the top of my head. I think I gave like 5 of the 8 matches on the main card over 4 stars.
Over 4 stars. So okay. So I'm gonna cut this in half. There's a 50-50 split here. From an in-ring perspective, I would say Mercedes versus Stephanie Vaquer for me. From an in-ring perspective. From an overall showcase sports entertainment perspective, the street fight, brother. We can't forget about the goddamn street fight. We just can't. The street fight was what made this event. It peaked everything in the event. We came down a little bit because of the Mark Davis news or whatever the case is, but that street fight got that crowd at a peak and it kept them there. So props to the street fight because it was necessary. Stephanie Becker versus Mercedes. I think for me, from an in-ring perspective, definitely did the damn thing. So that's those are the matches of the night for me.
I'm gonna go with a three-way tie for me. I'm going Stephanie Becker versus Mercedes Moné, Will Ospreay versus Hiroshi Tanahashi, and the six-man tag of Blackpool Combat Club and Shooter versus Chaos. Those three matches all delivered in different ways, and Joe kind of echoing what I'm saying agreed, in-ring Stephanie and Mercedes, but I think I got hyped most during the trios match. That trios match, man, Okada and Moxley touching was just it was molting hot in the building. I was hyped for it, and I was just like, give me more of this, inject it in my veins right now. Vala B saying Strong has a history of bloody street fights, and this was the best. We're talking about the street fight between Fred Rosser and Juice Robinson. So yeah, this show had something for everyone. Like I said, a great smorgasbord of professional wrestling was Resurgence.
I'll say this: somebody said it earlier in the chat, where they said that Juice Robinson came out a winner in this match. And he's a savage. He's more of a savage than David Finlay. That was the comment that was made. I've said this since the jump, since David Finlay became the de facto leader. You have two more savages in that crew, right? At the end of the day. Now, obviously, Juice Robinson isn't Bullet Club proper. He's Bullet Club Gold, right? But
put Tony Storm in Bullet Club Gold after the show.
There you go. So for me, it's like, can we lose David Finlay? Can we lose him, please? Because at the end of the day, it just doesn't make any sense. Juice did his thing here. He is now, not that he's going to be a deathmatch king, but he is now hardcore, more hardcore than he's ever been before. And he's a savage, a true savage, a bigger savage than David Finlay ever will be. So I think we need to have that match in order for there to be new leadership in the Bullet Club. If you know what I'm saying.
They're gonna fight for the ownership of the Bullet Club name between Juice and
eventually Jay White will take over because Jay White. But at the end of the day,
he's the real
what it is. He's the real leader. But
yeah,
man.
Eating your mac and cheese.
But I'll say that, man. I think that a lot of the time I don't give Juice Robinson enough cred just because it's just, I don't know, the way they book him. I think it's just because of the way they book Juice. I don't give him enough credibility and enough validity. But this match, hey, bro, you got it. You got it, man. You got it. So that's what it is there for me.
Standing O for Juice. But that brings us to a close on this review. J-News, please let the people know where they can follow you on social media. When they'll see you back, it's going to be very soon because we're going to be reviewing the Best of the Super Juniors coming up next week.
So you can always catch me on the Instagram _JONJY. I like to interact with the folks. You will be seeing me right here on the True Heel Heat wrestling YouTube channel. Yes, we have the Best of Super Junior Roundup. We also have the Dominion preview coming. So you'll see me in the coming weeks here. And then obviously after Dominion, we will have some more talk in another tournament space coming. And then obviously there's going to be a preview for the Independence Day shows for New Japan Strong as well.
All together, Forbidden Door.
Yeah. Y'all see me on the reg, man. J-News here, True Heel Heat. Y'all see me. It's okay. That's what where you'll see me at in the next coming weeks.
You can follow me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSP3. Follow the gang, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at True Hill Heat. If you want to support us even more than you already do here in the chat and here everywhere else, patreon.com/True Hill Heat. $3 a month gets you in the door. You got exclusive content. You got the True Hill Heat Prediction Championship. Shout out to Alan Banky, who's still ahead of me right now. Only for right now, but I'm gonna be overcoming. Subscribe to True Hill Heat Sports. Also follow us at twitch.tv/True Hill Heat Gaming and hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. We'll be going live tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern time with Rated Raw superstars watching tonight's WWE Raw. Also check out the Flagship podcast, True Hill Heat 226 from this past Saturday. We talked about AEW Collision announcement, the latest drama with CM Punk and AEW falling out due to Ace Steel status in the company and more. And also check out yesterday's Serving Face and Heels with Stephanie Hypes and Miss Chrissy Love talking about the latest in women's wrestling. But thank you so much to J-News. Thank you so much to everyone in the chat. We got Joel who says, thanks for the content, fellas. We appreciate you. He also says, it was great to listen in and hear your takes. Thanks for giving us your takes, your live perspective, being there live. And thank you, everyone else, Follow B, Ninja Mortis, everyone in the chat who was telling us everything about the show. Frantic World who said, good review. See you on the next one. We will see you then. For J-News, it is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. This has been our NJPW Resurgence 2023 review. We are signing next time.